Henry Hunt's 120 was outstanding. I've got Henry Hunt still a couple of years away, but if there's an opportunity and he's making runs, there's still, what, 3 or 4 more games for these guys to put their hands up. So someone like a Lehman or a Hunt could quickly come into calculation.
It's exciting times, I'll tell you what. And what about with Pat Cummins not playing, who steps in there? I mean, Boland, I guess, is the obvious choice, but are there other players making a case?
Yeah, look, I think someone like a Doggett has sort of been there and thereabouts. I think Michael Nisa has probably been on the sidelines and ready to go for probably the good part of 2 years. Him and Boland, I think, have just been they've mixed more cordial than anyone in cricket history. I think being 12 men, but I'd say those two, and someone like a Fergus O'Neill, who doesn't have the ball speed as what we're used to Australian quicks, sort of being that 140 plus, but he sort of sits around that 130, a bit shorter, but very, very skillful. And if he got an opportunity, he'd be great as well.
And what are the narratives going on in the opposition camp? You'll have your head and eyes and ears, no doubt, across all of that. What's happening in Pomland?
In Clubland, sorry?
In with the Poms.
Oh,
what are their narratives?
In the Poms. Yeah, look, I think the Poms, like we've been speaking about Bazball for so long that I think the way that they go about it, I don't think that Bazball can particularly work the way that they've been playing it traditionally. The last few series, the Indian series in particular, they sort of changed it a little bit. They reined it in, which they need to do here in Australia because you can't just continually attack the way that they had been. So I think the way they're playing cricket is coming together. They're probably a more structured and set up side than what we are, especially with the batting order. That they know what their batting order will be. It'll just be that injury side of things from an English point of view, is like who's fit, the bowlers coming in, because I think if we can start to get, like any series, if you can get to the 6th or 7th bowler, that player has to play more tests than he doesn't, that's the sort of weak link. And that's where something, because we've been so lucky in Australia having Cummins, Stark and Hazelwood over and over again, if one of them gets injured, and heaven forbid that another one might go down, it really does start to stretch the depth of your fast bowling. And that's the same thing of what England have been through. England are going to come here with sort of 5 or 6 big, strong quicks, but probably only 3 that are world class. So, yeah, and the big glaring point for me is that the spinners in the English side aren't of the class of what we have with Nathan Lyon. And I think the Australian batters will be licking their lips to face the various spinners that England are going to put on our shores.
You are listening to Summer Grandstand on ABC Sport with Sam Lane and Limo. We're talking to Adam Crossweight. Adam, get your crystal ball out. Who's going to open the batting with Usman Khawaja, and who's going to bat at number 3?
Yeah, it's a huge one. I think Marnus will do enough to come back into the team. I think, and I just heard, obviously, we're on Cameron Green watch, so hopefully Green is bowling and can slide down the order for mine. I think they'll bat him at 6. I think Marnus will come in at 3. I've been a big one for Jake Weatherald. I think he's 30 years old. He's coming off a really big year. He's done everything right. For me, it's a bit of an out of the box one, but he's the one that for probably the last 6 months I've been watching really closely. So I think Sam Constas is a great young player, and I think he'll play a lot of cricket for Australia. I think he needs 2 or 3 years in the Shield to score some big runs. So right now for me, it'd be Jake Weatherald. But the guys that we heard around the grounds, Renshaw sturdy not out and batting beautifully. Marcus Harris is a superstar in first class cricket. So it'll depend on these next 4 games. I think it's wide open. But for me, I'd give the tip of the cap to Jake Weatherald at the moment.